keeping with the theme of cleaning up the interior, I'm working on steering wheel right now. And I'm going to get this whole thing degreased and cleaned up so I can get it ready to go. So, take the horn button, you push it in, rotate it counterclockwise, it comes up, and you get a spring underneath there. And then there's a 15/16 nut. Break this nut loose. And see if I can figure out how the rest of it comes apart. Okay, so the steering wheel just pulled off. I was able to put it on the ground and pull the shaft up. The steering wheel came out, and then it's got a spring inside of it. And that steering wheel will never be used again. And I've got this, pull this column out. Now when I do the steering, the column, I'm not going to need to keep this, I'll have to pull this off. But the rest of this can get degreased, clean all of this up, and then I will put it all back together again. Looks like this is a plastic bearing retainer and a washer. All this stuff needs to get degreased. Pull the wiring out of this. Oh, it is absolutely filthy in there. Another bearing retainer that goes up in the top. Nice and gooey in there. Oh. A Phillips head screwdriver. Get all these taken got these two bolts down in here. These two bolts pulled out. This whole mechanism was broken and this was glued on. Looks like a red RTV or something, so I'll have to replace that. And a little pointer that was also broken and the remnants are inside. Pulled this out, getting the wiring, this little wiring pulled out. So now I've got the turn signal module and then this upper collar. Pull those wires through, and I'm going to degrease all of this so I can get it ready so I can paint it, put it all back together again when the time comes. Got the shift tube for an automatic column shift. So this needs to get de-rusted and put back together again. And then I've got here just the actual shaft itself and the arm. And it's all caked in right there with dirt and every other thing. But it's otherwise moving freely. This plate will come off and this rubber is going to get replaced. New rubber. I need to get that off. And I'll go ahead and get this this little section of the wiring harness off. And there goes the spring. There's a couple of these little self-tapping screws that hold on this furbistat. Alright, in order to get the sleeve off, now that I've got the shaft out, this linkage, the shift linkage, can just pull out. It's dirt. It's literally older than I am. And then the sleeve come off. I'm going to get a new one of these, the new rubber to seal the hole, but this plate right here is going to be retained, I think. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to go ahead and order this and find out. I'll let you know. But here's the tube. I can clean this off, clean this out, and then I'll be de-rusting it. That way I can paint it and get it all put back together again. Alright, so I got these parts. These are soaking in degreaser when I'm using just dollar store awesome cleaner. Stuff works great. It's diluted. It's about a 4-to-1. I've got the steering column. This is the shift, the column shifter. It's in there, and I've got that. All the inside was greasy. This right here, I'll hit this with some sandpaper. Looks like it was chrome at one point. These are the seat sliders for the bench seat. I'll be going in, so I'm degreasing these so the electrolysis will actually work on them. So I can use the degrease them and then hit them with the electrolysis, and then I'll paint those up and I get that seat in there. But the electrolysis doesn't work whenever there's grease in it. Grease won't let it get tight. Here's the bearing in it. And this bearing actually feels like it's moving around. It doesn't feel broken. I don't know if I can replace this bearing or not. I haven't gotten to that point of it yet. I'm gonna find out. Taking this and just getting all the grease off of it so I can actually get it into the electrolysis and then get the rust off of it. That's what I'm going for. Solder here is all caked on nasty grease. But it's actually working very well. Very happy with the way that's turning out. And to show you, this was all caked in with grease, and this bearing is actually in pretty good shape. It's spinning. It's a little gritty. I don't know if there's still stuff in it. And of course, right now it's dry, as in that it doesn't have grease in it. But here, getting all these cleaned up, and then I'll sand this down whenever I go to put it all back together again and paint it. With it degreased for the most part, cleaned up, hit it with a wire wheel just to get a lot of the paint off. Still a bluish hue. I've got it in this bucket right here, and I'm doing some rust removal through electrolysis. I've got a battery there, and then I've got a battery charger. Battery charger is charging the battery. The battery is running this operation here because my charger wouldn't run it by itself. I'll give you an example of some of the things that have come out. This has still got some paint on it. I can hit that with some sandpaper and knock it down, but it's all the rust that was on here. This thing just looked brown from all the rust, and it's no longer rusty. The bolt's not getting the conductivity that the rest of the part is, so it's not working as well, it seems. But the rust removal by electrolysis is actually working remarkably well. So what I'm going to end up doing is put together a much larger chamber so I can do the doors, inside the doors, and get all the rust out of there. It'd be a lot easier than trying to mess with it. But anyway, that's what I've got. Some sandpaper, knock those down, clean those up a little bit. And,